So, you saw the title, and, I was just thinking one day that I love BTD6, and I was watching a video that was objectively ranking all the Paragons. This won't be as objective, but I was like, you know what? That's a great idea for this channel. I love BT6 and I love Paragons. I think they're some of the funniest things to that game. So why not rank them all by strength? Now I will say, um, this is not too objective. I mean, some of the things like price is objective. I think hopefully I got them all right. I was a bit too lazy to chalk it down and write it down and then compare. But yeah, which, now thinking about it, I probably should have done this. I probably just should have gone through and like ranked them 1 through 13 for each paragon and then gave it a score and then the lowest score went. But I didn't do that. Which, by the way, every score is accurate. If you have a higher score, then you're higher in the placement, except for one. And I'll get to that. Anyways, an honorable mention I will give is the VTSG, or the Vengeful Sun Temple. Wait a minute. How is it VTSG? Oh, Vengeful True Sun. God, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. Anyways, I give him an honorable mention because the developers say he's not a Paragon and that they will make a Super Monkey Paragon. I think. Don't fact check me on that. Um, so I'm not gonna count it. It's a close. It's a semi Paragon by the fact that it absorbs the other two upgrades, but it's just a T5. It's just a really boosted T5, and I have seen people say it would be dead last on this list. It would not. Its damage excels, especially when it has a Zeely. I've gone to like 220 with this guy alone, and that's pretty good, even with monkey power 100 tier Paragons. Not many make it to 220 by themselves. Especially when this dude's buffed, he's elite. Anyways, that's why I will say he probably wouldn't make the top 5, but he would make it probably 50%. Anyways, starting off with our true number 1 worst, we have the Dart Monkey Paragon. Yeah, Apex Plasma Master. Guys, did we expect anything else? The only reason why this monkey, this Paragon, has at least a somewhat good score is it has the best price in the game. Actually, the TAC Paragon may be slightly cheaper, but both, like this Paragon, has the best price in the game and excels at that only. And, well, it is either the cheapest or second cheapest Paragon, so you'd expect it to be the worst. I think now it's like the only Paragon without an ability. Never mind the ninja. I'm pretty sure it and the ninja are the only two Paragons who do not have an ability now that the boomer has one. Um, but yeah, let's just talk about damage. So where I got the numbers for damage is from a channel, highly recommend, Mackin Rules, when they made their most recent video called, or not their most recent video on this of how far can every Paragon get? That video, and I'm ranking it based off how much damage it did, and I'm trying my best to exclude abilities. Okay, like yeah, the Knave Arc of the Seas is probably number 1, but that's because it has a bad sucking in ability, and that does insane damage. So I'm trying to be objective, and from what I know about the damage and how I feel the damage is, I rate it off that. Quality. This is basically your all-around stuff. Like I said, buffs, combos, but also usability, accessibility, and like in what situations would I use this, and how many situations will I use it that it is the most useful or one of the most useful. The dart is never it is the most useful. I don't think it has any good combos other than in a grass pack. Actually, the whole reason why it's not one is because when it bounces off walls, it's really good. Sometimes, not actually, it is. But yeah, this is by far the worst Paragon. Also, I graded the ones without abilities, except I accidentally graded one with an ability without an ability. It was the boomerang, but I graded it slightly different, but it still works. So at the bottom is, I think, clearly the dart. Even though, and it does make sense, it was the first, but hey. And number 12 is the TAC Paragon. I actually, I really love this design. Quick thing, oh my god, I love the animation of this game. It's so good, and especially like Oh, the images look so good. Anyways, the damage on this Paragon actually isn't too bad. Neither is the abilities. The ability where he just like gets longer range and attack faster, that's okay. The bomb ability or the whole map ability, that's definitely better. But I mean, I'm not complaining. And another one where there are what combos, what buffs, what accessibility, what usability does this have? The answer is none. I also, again, I for some of these newer Paragons, I'm not the best with because I have not played enough with them. But I'm pretty sure this guy is one of like very few Paragons that don't hit camo, and that's really bad. Um, because that means you need to get another tower. But honestly, I'm not like I've seen like some people do it where they braid it off each game mode. I mainly play free play. I'm not the biggest boss player. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty good at free play. I would like to say my highest round's like I think 285 or no 385. I can definitely get higher. I just need to play more, which honestly I should. I do love this game, but I will say, yeah. And the price is another 10 out of 10. What saves it again? I think it's a good amount better than the Dart Monkey. It's just not good, you know. Okay, next is tied our newest Paragon, the Druid. You know, the Druid is one of my favorite monkeys in the game. Other like I think it's called what? The Monarch of Storm. Such a worse name. I like the name more. But anyways, I think this got the root of all nature, I believe it's called. Some of them I don't know the name. I think that last one's like the Annihilation Zone or something. Anyways, uh the Druid Paragon, it's one of my favorite Paragons, mainly because I love the Druid Monkey, but I'm gonna be objective here. It's a pretty bad Paragon. Arguably the worst for one reason. The damage I gave a 4 because when in its wrathful state, it's really powerful. When it's not, it's good, I guess. But here's the problem. Which is also why I gave the price a 6. It's pretty cheap. It's one of the cheaper Paragons in the game, except when you use the ability. Because the ability drains your money. Real quick. I'm pretty sure it's like 10,000 a second. That's really bad. At a max, it's 10,000 a second. That's really, really bad. Um, like, that's just so much. In 2 seconds, you're wasting a Paragon totem. I just want to, like, that's a lot to waste. For a tower that, let's be honest, isn't that worth it. I mean, the ability, like I said, the ability is pretty mid. I mean, there is a good quality buffs, combos, stuff like that. Accessibility, you can use this a lot, and it will work. It'll do the job. It'll be a nice support, or not support, but it'll be a helping tower. It's just, I just don't think it really sell or carries that well. You know. Because there's also one thing about the price. I will say the price is a bit amped by the fact that it buffs all druid prices, and it makes money itself. But the thing is, it makes pennies. It makes so little. Um, and there's also one thing. The price, I will say, is the least important out of this. Honestly, I probably should have scored the price by like 5 instead of 10. Because really, by the time you get to the end of the game, the price of things, like, it's important, but like you'll be in the millions by the time you're in like 220 or 120 in free play. You're already in the millions. So it won't be the most important thing, the price, but it is definitely impactful. I will say that. So you can swap it with the tack depending on how much you care about the ability draining so much cash. But I'm gonna place it slightly above the tack. But I love its design. I mean, it looks so cool. Such a shame that's pretty weak. Anyways, at number 10 is the Boomerang Paragon. Didn't make it much higher. The ability I'll put the damage. Let's just make the damage 5. That would boost it up because the ability. Let's just keep the ability. Like add one more damage because the ability just speeds up the tower. Like, oh wow, I'm so impressed. But like, yeah, I mean, I would say buffs and combos and stuff like that. Oh wait, that's why I gave it like that would be like a 2, the quality, but it does buff every single primary tower I don't know by how much, but it does buff it, which is important. That's impressive. That's good. So that is why I made a 5. Every single primary tower, especially since we have like, what is it now, 5 primary Paragons, is insane to be buffing them. So that is why I gave it a 5. And the price at 9, because it's, I think, the third cheapest Paragon in the game. It's a really good price. But overall, there's nothing really much else to say about them. Most of these, those first 2 Paragons were, well, great at the time. They have definitely fallen off. Anyways, next is the Sub Paragon, and where it really starts to lose its points is at the damage, because the damage on this guy is pathetic. You're not dealing much. I mean, you're basically dealing nothing when you're submerged. You're not dealing much when you're unsubmerged. And the ability, I'll just talk about the ability. The ability's great. The ability is great. It would be maybe the best ability. Not the best. One of the best abilities in the game. If, like, doesn't it, like, not only does it take, like, I'm pretty sure, like, a minute or two to just get it off cooldown. That's absurd. But it also takes 15 seconds to launch, and your tower is doing nothing. That's work. Like, 15 seconds of no damage. Like, that may not sound like a lot, but that's a lot. Like, that's a good amount of time for 15 seconds. And, like, not even in real time. Like, just, like, even in game time. Like, doesn't matter how slow you're thinking. Like, if you're really laggy, that 15 seconds is, like, a minute. But, like, seriously, that just completely ruined the ability. It went from, like, a high 9 or a 10 ability to a 6. I will say the buffs and quality, of course, is great because of the submerge and all that, and it gets the water buff, you know. But still, and the price is good, and those are the saving graces. But honestly, if you want to put this guy lower, actually I wouldn't. The buffs are quite important, but the price is not. So overall, I get he is a support Paragon, but he's just not the most useful, you know. Okay, next up is the NG. Okay, this is another support Paragon, and while they are very important, on their own. They don't stand well. The ability is great. I mean, the reason why it's not 10 is it's not a perma. It's more of an overclock and not a perma boost. So it's just temporary. I think would have been better if it was a perma boost, but whatever. Which also leads to a problem with the damage. While these turrets are strong to a certain extent, you get to a problem. Okay, and the problem is that your tower gets weaker because you know what you're gonna have. Yes, you have the little overclock ability, and that's great. That's great. But you also have a problem of that you're probably gonna have a perma boost down, and that means you don't get monkey power or paragon power or whatever it's called, the buff to the paragon, when you don't have any T5s of that tower down. So you're losing a lot of damage from the NG, and that causes a lot. Why did I write monkey? But I just realized that. Anyway, so you're losing a lot of power from the engineer monkey, and like, yeah, honestly, this guy, I remember, he's one of my least favorite Paragons because of how much of a letdown he was on release, of how he was basically just a top path tier 6 of the. It used to be called something Paragon, the Paragon of like Energy Paragon or something, but then they changed the name. The top 5 of the engineer. It was basically just a tier 6 of that, which I mean, it still is kind of just um like, let's say a tier 6 of that with a wrap, or with a 4, like you going 4 into the, you got an overclock. That's really it. There's nothing to do with the balloon trap in it entirely, I'm pretty sure, which that could have been the ability of really powerful balloon trap, but no. That's just a disappointment, but it's not against a tower, or it's not against the strength. It's just a disappointing thing, you know. Because if this was objective, I'd be putting this guy in like last, or if this wasn't objective, somewhat. I'd be putting this guy in last. But yeah, I will say one thing: the buffs and quality and stuff, it is quite usable most of the time ish. I actually probably should put the price lower down because it's a pretty expensive dude, you know. But yeah, no. Oh, okay. Number 7 is the bomb Paragon. Great damage. Great damage. It would have been higher. It would have been higher. Only problem is the attack's so slow. This is your backup guy. You need someone else with him, which kind of sucks because the top path or the middle path is literally supposed to be the super fast one, but it's not at all. But whatever. I really honestly I really like this guy. This guy's so cool. I love his design. I love it. I love him. This guy's my goat. But his damage is quite good. When you yeah, it's really good damage if it were faster. Like if it's just fast enough, it's a great background tower, but it can't stand on its own, which does hurt it a bit. Also, the ability is really great. It's a really just strong. It's just a really strong Moab elimination, a Moab eliminator, and it works really well. It's really powerful, and I believe it can. If it pops a Moab, it just keeps on going, which is great. Quality buffs combo. The thing is, it doesn't have many combos. I mean, I would actually it does if you like use on the Ice Paragon and freeze everything. But so that's a good combo. Things like that, and like the buffs, I guess the boomerang buff, and of course if it's on water and things like that, you can get the oh my god, I'm keeping forgetting the boat buff, the buccaneer buff, and of course its usability is basically whenever you just want a tank, you just want somebody to deal a lot of damage, get this guy. So yeah, Sid quality is pretty good, and it's a good price. It's one of the cheaper ones. All the primary ones are quite cheap, and this one is pretty good. Okay, next. Okay, this one really saddens me. It's the Ace Paragon. This guy, when I was originally making my list, so basically I made the list how I wanted to make it, and then I made the categories and the numbers and got down and broke it down and be like, okay, let's try and make it a bit more objective and not opinion based. This guy was like my third because, oh my god, he does so much damage and his ability is great. If you know how to use that ability, it is one of the best abilities in the game. It is amazing. And oh my god, the damage output is so good. And the buffs, I'm pretty sure you get the Navark of the Seas buff. You are just really strong. You're usable in every map because no matter what, you're gonna be able to hit the balloons. And it's just so good in almost everything that it does. Except for the price. Okay. This is the only tower in the game that can cost over $1 million when in Impoppable, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Impoppable. It could just be hard mode. It's the only tower to cost $1 million. That's really bad, especially if you're trying to do the cash slider. If you do the cash slider, this is costing you, like, on your highest game mode, I think, like, $4 million. Like, $4 million. It's absurd. It's really bad. Um, so that is the main downside, because this guy, like, if you can afford him, top 3 Paragon. Problem is, he's gonna be one of your he's probably gonna be one of your latest Paragons, because you just can't afford it, or your first Paragon. But then he's just gonna take all away your damage, or you can't get other Paragons. Point is, this guy, which does lower his usability, I will say, because it's kind of hard to pick when should I place this guy down if I'm trying to get other Paragons, because if I place him down too early, then I'm not gonna have enough money for a while. And he's gonna take pops. But if I place him down too late, uh, what if I don't have enough money, and what if it's just too late? That doesn't matter, and I've been wasting my money on this Paragon, But overall, he is a great one. He's a great dude. Isab. So sad he didn't. He get to get a reference eventually, but not in this Paragon. Anyways, my goat. My goat, the ace. Wait, so number 5 is the Ice Paragon. Another one where you can argue with higher. I've seen people place it in the top 3 because of the ability. The ability is a 10. It can slow down bad. It used to be even more powerful. In which it could slow down bad. It's really good. Now I will say this is one that I haven't used much on. I'm using it a bit more, and I've kind of just had to look at videos and see what they're doing. But that's where it's cracked. It's so good at just is amazing support. Probably the best support Paragon, other than maybe the engineer. Also, his debuffs. His debuffs used to be even more insane. I think it used to be a plus 12 damage points per attack. Now it is plus 8, which is a nerf. Actually, it could have just been plus 8. Now it's like plus 5. But still, it's a crazy buff. And you will never. And it also freezes everything on map. You can place your towers anywhere you want, which is insane. So yes, this guy is in. He's pretty good. And there's almost never a time where you don't want to use him, especially since he's so cheap too. There's almost never a time where he doesn't combo with the tower because the Herald of Everfrost. I actually know this name. You just freeze everything. Everything's done. It's all cooked. Oh wait, I remember this name too. It's the Goliath Doomship. I remember. Anyways, he's just gonna freeze everything, and you're gonna be cooked. You're done. You know. So that is why I place him so high. Except, what stops him from being higher is that his damage is god awful. If there was a 0 that I could give, I would give him a 0. His damage is basically none. Um, I'm pretty sure a maxed out Bloon Jitsu or Grandmaster Ninja would do more damage. And honestly, maybe even a maxed out Bloon Jitsu with the 20 Shinobis would do it. Because this guy is weak as hell. I mean, like, I'm gonna be so honest. He's not strong. He's immensely weak, and that is his main flaw. I don't want my TV break now. Anyways, he's just way too weak that I can't put him higher, because it's great to be a support, but how far can that go when you can't handle anything by yourself? When there are, like, there's probably T4s in the game more powerful than this guy. So that's where you start getting problems. But still a great Paragon. Elite, if some may say. Oh, wait, no. Ah! Shoot. Okay. Sorry, there's something weird with my phone. Number 4 is the Buccaneer. People often say it's the best, and honestly, I think it's slightly too high. But yeah, let's say damage. Even outside of the bad hooking, let's just get rid of the bad hooking one. The only things that can just, no matter what, take out bad, which is why the ability is a 10. I don't think I need to explain that. Although I'm pretty sure they have capped it to just 2 bads per round, but still, that's insane. Now, what is the damage is really good, actually. Yeah, I was gonna say what's the problem. The answer is there really is none. The damage is great even outside of them. These ships do good damage. The ship itself, or the planes do good damage. The ship itself does good damage. This is only a 5 because the buffs are crazy. They're really good buffs. Also, it's pretty usable. I mean, some maps, the water is really bad. And it's hard to get a Paragon to 100 because you need all that. Also, price is pretty good. This is overall just like a pretty elite Paragon. Is just not the best, in my opinion, because of how it's very single targeted. Honestly, oh my god, ow! Sorry, I just stubbed my toe. Anyways, um, yeah, honestly, if this was just less single targeted, because the reason why it's so good is that it's really good taking out single targets, like those bads. And like honestly, I just think there's better monkeys to do it. Except it is tied with number 3, so you can debate which one is better, which one is worse. That's your decision. You can decide. Honestly, it was hard for me to decide, and even now, I may be thinking that the next one should be third or no, fourth, and this should be third, because honestly, there's no real downside. Unlike this guy, the Wizard Paragon has one big downside, and that is it's pretty hefty in its price. It's quite expensive. I think it's the second or third most expensive Paragon in the game, and that's a lot. But yeah. And the buffs, combos, qualities, this is accessible any game, anytime. You're never not gonna want to have this guy, and he works with all the other towers. Again, I think there's just never a time where you wouldn't want to use this guy. There's never a time where he's not accessible, and there's never a time where it's hard to get. This is one of the easiest Paragons to get, in my opinion, because of how powerful the normal wizard is. Now, here's where it gains most of its points. The ability, I think, is better than the Navark of the Seas ability. Yeah, even better. Because, here's my logic. So, Navark of the Seas ability is insanely good. It's insanely good. You're able to hook in a bad. But, here's the thing. This guy has an insanely strong ability. He does so much damage. If you count that, I think it may be the second highest damage dealing Paragon in the game. That's crazy. That's insane. That's mental. But it's not all the time. And I guess the zombies, the OMGs aren't the best, but still, that it keeps it at 10 for abilities. It is an insanely good ability. And what puts it over Navark, even though it can't just one-shot a bad, is that it can deal damage to multiple balloons and clear up things. Like your ZOMGs, you're done. Anything under that, you're done. You're cooked. Bads, and he can still do a lot of good damage to bads. So this is why I put him so high with the ability, and his damage normally is just great as well. He also has great range, meaning that he's great range. And yeah, honestly, I just think you can definitely put the Navark over this guy. That's totally justifiable. I just slightly prefer this dude's ability more. And also, I may have a bit of bias because I like this guy a lot more. And look at this design; it's so gorgeous. I love this game's art style and the drawings. It was at number 2, and yes, this is the example where my number 1 is technically lower rated, but it would feel sacrilegious to put it lower than the ninja. And that's no disrespect to ninja. The ninja's amazing. The damage is a 9. Oh my god, the damage of this guy's insane. Especially buff after, this dude used to be worse than Navark of the Seas. I'll say that. He used to be very, very good, but he was not the best. No chance. Then he just kept on getting buffs. I think it was literally there were 5 concurrent updates, maybe even more, where he kept on getting a buff. This guy may be the most buffed tower in the game. I'm pretty sure that he's gotten a dozen buffs since his release. A dozen buffs. No, dozen updates where he was buffed. He just constantly just gets more and more powerful. I don't think this dude has ever been detracted in strength. And now, he's so powerful. His bombs do a lot of damage. This dude can get you, I'm pretty sure, someone did a video and got it to 250 with just him. 2 arrows unlocked. But still, that's insane. The damage on this guy is crazy. In the passive ability, because this guy doesn't have an ability, but I needed to mention it. The Grand Sabo is insane. A permanent Grand Sabo is insane. That is. Now, I can't remember. I could be lying. And if I am not lying, then this guy would be number 1. But if I am, actually, maybe he wouldn't be. But here's what I heard: that the Ascended Shadow, this Ninja Paragon, his Grand Sabo actually does 25% of all balloons' health when they enter the screen. Do you understand how insane that is? 25%. That's mind-boggling insane. That's crazy. Although I could be wrong, so we are going to treat it as if it is 10% like the normal Grand Sabo. But even then, that's insane. That is insane. That is insane. It's one of very few Paragons that will hold up forever. It's not gonna fall off because you're just constantly doing that passive damage. It is insane. And the buffs, qualities, combat, you never once are you not going to want to use this guy. There's no scenario, there's no time, there's no place where you're like, oh, I don't think I want the Ninja Paragon. Never once will you think that. He's insane on that. Like, this is almost as perfect as a Paragon can get. The price, I will say, is pretty darn good. And it's not the best price, but it's not the worst. Anyways, let's see my number one. You have already probably boiled it down, and you probably knew it was going to be this. It's the Spike Paragon. Sorry for the terrible quality. Like, all of these, I got, like... Go back. Okay, all of these, I got, like, generally good quality for them. And then it just comes to this guy, and it's pixels. I don't know how. On the internet, there was no thing that said clear background Spike Paragon. All the other ones had it. This guy was the exception. It was damage 11. I broke the rules. Yeah, he gets an 11 in damage. Or it. The machine gets an 11. Okay. It's insane. I don't think it's now, but on release, ISAB made a video. My goat ISAB. He made a video about this guy versus the Elite Bloonarius. You wanna know what happened to the Elite Bloonarius? 40 million health. Died in 1 second. This guy somehow reached a DPS of 40 million. That's insane. I don't care if it was through some crazy glitch or if it's not anymore. He's still immensely powerful and he 40 million DP. Oh my god, bit my tongue. A 40 million DPS. That can't just be glossed over. I mean, this guy is insane. This guy is the best damage. I mean, I swear to God, one of these bombs kill like a ZOMG, like one bomb. ZOMG gone? Oh, bad? Gone? Fortnite bad? Oh, gone. It is insane. This dude is cracked. You are never finding a better Paragon than this guy. I swear. Like, I don't know how, unless if they just bring in the super monkey Paragon and it's just, oh, it's an infinite black hole, or oh, he does a million damage per projectile. Like, unless if you're doing that, I don't see how you made this guy one of the best towers in the game normally, and the best Paragon. The ability is a 10. The one where he just increases his fire rate, it's okay. The carpet bomb ability is much better, where he just lays bombs on across the track, and that is OP because they deal so much damage. But also because when you explode them, it feels like it has global range. My bombs can be like right here, and like all the ones up here are gone. Then I press the button to reset it, and all the balloons are gone, no matter how close they are. He is insane. I cannot stress you how good this guy is. Qualities, buffs, combos. This guy has no combos. I don't think he has any buffs either. He just is always accessible. He's a 10 out of 10 accessibility. And price is a 5. That is what brought him down, is that the price just is not good. I think it is. I think this is the second most expensive Paragon. Like, it's just not a good price. So I can't really rate it that highly. But I think this guy is just is by far the best. Better than the Ninja, better than the Ace, better than the Wizard, better than the Navark, better than anything. Which is why I broke the rules and put him higher than the Ninja. Because I don't care how good the Ninja is. The Ninja is insane. But this is just better. And I don't care if the Ninja technically got a better score. This is just better. Anyways, so if you enjoyed that video, subscribe, and if you disagree with me, comment down below. If you have more objective lists, comment down below. And yeah, bye.